Ever walked into a US city and thought, wait, am I in America or the Philippines? Filipinos aren't just moving to the US, they're taking over entire neighborhoods, turning quiet suburbs into buzzing barangays and city streets into little Manilas. The aroma of sizzling sisig, jeepney-inspired murals, and titas gossiping over Halo Halo? Yeah, these places feel like a second homeland. But why are Filipinos flocking to these cities in record numbers? What's driving this unstoppable wave of migration? And which US city is practically drowning in Filipino culture? Trust me, you won't believe. Number one, stay tuned, because if you're Filipino or just love our culture, this is one deep dive you can't miss. New to the channel, welcome Kabayan, hit that subscribe button and be part of the Inside Report fam. Already with us? Smash that like button and let's get started. Ever walked through Chicago and caught the unmistakable scent of sizzling lumpia? Or maybe you've stumbled upon a Jollibee with a line wrapped around the block. If so, congratulations, you've just experienced the undeniable presence of Filipino America in the Windy City. Chicago isn't just home to deep dish pizza and jazz, it's also where over 110,000 Filipinos have built a thriving community, one adobo pot at a time. And let's be real, this city wouldn't be the same without them. Ask any longtime Chicagoan about Filipinos in the city, and they'll likely mention one thing: nurses. It all started back in the late 60s when a wave of skilled Filipino medical professionals arrived after US immigration laws changed. Today, walk into any hospital and chances are a Filipino nurse is there, taking care of patients with warmth and dedication. It's in the DNA of Chicago's Filipino story. But Chicago's Filipino scene is more than just hospitals. It's a cultural powerhouse. Ever been to the Fiesta Pinoy Festival? Imagine a sea of barongs, karaoke competitions where your Tito swears he sounds like Bruno Mars, and the best homemade pancit you'll ever eat. And don't even get me started on Filipino American History Month. Every October, the city transforms into a Filipino fiesta, making sure younger generations stay connected to their roots while sharing the culture with everyone else. It's Chicago, but with a Filipino heartbeat. So, if you ever find yourself in the Windy City, just follow the sound of Tagalog, the aroma of garlic rice, and the warmth of a community that has made this place their own. Are you from Chicago, or maybe you got Kabayans there? Let us know in the comments, and if you haven't yet, hit that like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next city on our list. Close your eyes and picture this: the sizzle of fresh tocino on a hot pan, the smell of warm pandesal floating through the air, the sound of laughter as a group of kababayans breaks into an impromptu karaoke battle outside a Filipino restaurant. You're not in Manila, you're in Riverside. San Bernardino, where the Filipino community isn't just thriving, it's taking over. With over 116,000 Filipinos calling this place home, it's as if a piece of the Philippines has been carved out and planted right here in Southern California. But why here? Why not LA or San Diego? Well, stick around, because this story is one you won't want to miss. Meet Rica, a 32-year-old nurse from Quezon City. She had two dreams: to build a better future in America and never lose touch with her Filipino roots. But when she first landed in California, reality hit hard. Rent in LA was sky high and everything felt too fast, too foreign. She needed a place that felt like home. Then she found Riverside. Within weeks, she was working at a hospital where Tagalog filled the break rooms and potlucks, meant trays of sinigang, lumpia, and adobo. She moved into an apartment where her neighbors were fellow Filipinos who invited her over for lechon every holiday. She wasn't just surviving, she was thriving. And Rica, she's just one of thousands. Nurses, caregivers, engineers, entrepreneurs, they've built a Filipino empire here. Step into Riverside-San Bernardino and you'll feel it. Seafood City is packed every weekend, filled with moms haggling over fresh bengus, while kids beg for chalk nut at the checkout. Tita-owned restaurants serve up sizzling sisig and halo halo, bringing flavors of home to every street corner. Filipino festivals turn entire parks into mini Manila, complete with tinikling, OPM concerts, and of course, the ultimate lechon showdown. Balikbayan boxes pile up at every LBC shipping center, filled with spam, sneakers, and love letters to family back home. Here, being Filipino isn't just about where you came from, it's about where you are. So what makes Riverside-San Bernardino the ultimate Filipino hub? It's simple. Affordable homes, a place where Filipino families can finally buy their dream house. Endless job opportunities, especially in healthcare, tech, and business. A tight-knit community, because nothing feels better than hearing "Kumusta" from a friendly stranger. It's a perfect mix of the American dream and Filipino tradition, a place where you can build a future without leaving your culture behind. And here's the best part. Riverside-San Bernardino is just the beginning, because up next, we're heading to a city where Filipinos don't just blend in, they dominate. A place where the culture runs so deep, it might as well be an extension of the homeland. Don't even think about clicking away. Smash that like button and let's keep this journey going. Seattle, where the rain is constant, the coffee is strong, and the Filipino presence unshakable. With nearly 126,000 Filipinos calling this city home, Seattle isn't just a place, it's a living, breathing extension of the Philippines. Walk through Beacon Hill and you'll hear Tagalog being spoken on street corners. Step into a Filipino restaurant in White Center and you'll smell the unmistakable aroma of adobo and sinigang. Visit a community gathering in South Seattle and you'll feel the warmth of Filipino hospitality. But here's what's really crazy. This didn't happen overnight. It took generations of grit, sacrifice, and an unwavering spirit to turn Seattle into one of the most thriving Filipino hubs in America. And that story, that's what you're about to hear. So, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay with me until the end. Because what you'll learn today, it's something you'll want to share. Let's rewind to the 1920s. Filipino immigrants arrived in Seattle with little more than hope and determination. Many found work in Alaskan canneries, slaving away in freezing conditions for pennies. Others toiled in the agriculture fields of Washington, breaking their backs to make ends meet. And despite the odds, they built something incredible. They weren't just workers, they were pioneers. They formed communities, opened businesses, fought for their rights, and slowly but surely, they made Seattle their own. Fast forward to today, Seattle's Filipino footprint is everywhere. From the nurses staffing the hospitals to the entrepreneurs launching restaurants and tech startups, Filipinos are shaping this city. Let me tell you a story, a real one. Lolo Ben came to Seattle in the 1970s with nothing but a suitcase and a dream. He worked 3 jobs, slept on a couch in a friend's apartment, and sent every extra dollar back home to the Philippines. For 10 years, he sacrificed everything, and then he built an empire. First, it was a tiny sari-sari store, then a Filipino restaurant, then a second restaurant. Fast forward to today, his family owns 3 businesses, employs dozens of people, and carries his legacy forward. Lolo Ben's story? It's not unique. It's the story of thousands of Filipinos in Seattle. Sacrifice, hustle, success. And that is why this community isn't just surviving, it's thriving. So, why do Filipinos keep choosing Seattle? Job opportunities are endless. From healthcare to tech, Seattle offers one of the best job markets, a home away from home. With Filipino markets, churches, and community centers, Seattle feels like the Philippines. Strong support networks. Whether you need a job, a place to stay, or a warm meal, there's always someone to help. And let's be real, the food alone is enough to stay for. If you've never had a steaming plate of sisig from Hood Famous or a bowl of pancit from Oriental Mart, you're missing out on Seattle's best kept secret. Seattle is filled with Filipinos, but the next city on our list, it's even more packed. We're talking entire neighborhoods, streets lined with Filipino businesses, and a community so strong, it feels like you've stepped into Manila itself. Hold up, San Jose? Wait, this city, with all its tech hype and startup dreams, is actually home to 142,000 Filipino Americans? No way, that's insane. I mean, when you think Silicon Valley, you think tech, right? Google, Apple, Tesla, but Filipinos? Seriously? I had no idea, but now that I'm diving into it, here's the crazy part. Filipinos are taking over Silicon Valley, and it's not just about surviving, they're absolutely crushing it. Let's talk about Ramon for a second. This guy came here 10 years ago with a backpack and a dream. That's it. Now, he's leading a team at one of the biggest tech firms in Silicon Valley. Ramon's not just a tech worker, he's one of the people shaping the future of technology, and he's far from the only one. Filipinos here aren't just taking jobs, they're creating the future. We're talking engineers, software developers, entrepreneurs, they're leading the way. This is a community of doers, dreamers, and innovators. But here's what really hit me. San Jose's not just about tech, it's a cultural phenomenon. Filipino restaurants? Everywhere. Family-owned businesses serving up the most mind-blowing lechon and halo-halo you can imagine. And let's not forget the fiestas. There's a Filipino pride here that's like nothing else. Karaoke on every corner with everyone singing their hearts out. It's a celebration of family, culture, and success all wrapped up in one. And I gotta say, I was shocked to learn that San Jose is now one of the top cities for Filipino immigrants to make it big in the tech world. This place is exploding with opportunity. It's more than just a place, it's a launch pad for the next generation of Filipino professionals. This city is becoming a Filipino powerhouse, and I didn't see it coming. Now, if you're still sleeping on San Jose, you're about to get left behind. Trust me, this is just the beginning. Smash that like button because the next city, it's gonna blow your mind. Stick with me, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Wait, Las Vegas? Of all the places where Filipinos are making waves, I never would have guessed that Sin City is home to a staggering 148,000 Filipino Americans. That's massive. But here's what's even crazier. Filipinos aren't just living here. They're running the show behind the scenes. Think about it. The glitz, the glamour, the billion-dollar casinos, behind every sparkling chandelier and high-rolling poker table, Filipinos are the backbone of it all. Hotels, restaurants, and entertainment venues wouldn't function without them, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Take Liza, for example. She arrived in Vegas with zero connections and barely any money, just hoping to land a job. Fast forward a few years, and she's not just working at a casino, she's running the floor, calling the shots, and making moves in an industry dominated by power players. And she's not alone. Thousands of Filipinos have climbed the ranks, turning what started as just a job into a thriving career. But here's the part that really blew my mind. Las Vegas feels like a Filipino city in disguise. Walk through certain neighborhoods and you'll see Filipino-owned bakeries selling fresh pandesal, restaurants packed with people eating sinigang and lechon, and gatherings where the karaoke is loud, the food is endless, and the sense of home is undeniable. Vegas isn't just a tourist playground, it's a Filipino success story in the making. And it's only getting bigger. The demand for skilled workers in hospitality, food service, and entertainment is growing, and Filipinos are seizing the opportunity like never before. But here's the real shocker. There's another US city where Filipinos are quietly taking over and hardly anyone is talking about it. Stick around because what I'm about to reveal next will absolutely blow your mind. Smash that like button, trust me, you're going to want to hear this. All right, real talk. If I blindfolded you, dropped you in the middle of San Diego, and told you to guess where you were, you'd probably say somewhere in California, right? But what if I told you that in some parts of this city, you might think you just landed in Manila? Don't believe me? Walk into National City and boom, you'll see Jollibee, a Filipino supermarket, and at least 3 aunties fighting over the last bag of frozen bangus. It's wild. And here's the kicker, over 202,000 Filipinos call San Diego home. That's not a small town, that's an entire Filipino nation tucked away in California. But how did so many Filipinos end up here? Well, the US Navy played a massive role. Let me introduce you to Tito Ben. This man came here in the 80s with a duffel bag, a dream, and a deep love for karaoke. He joined the US Navy like thousands of other Filipinos and worked his way up, eventually bringing his whole family over. Now, he's retired, runs a Filipino food truck called Sarap to the Bone, and is still undefeated at every family karaoke night. And let's be real, Filipinos in San Diego thrive. You've got Filipino nurses, teachers, entrepreneurs, and probably at least one Tito who owns a mechanic shop but only accepts cash. Now I gotta ask, if you're Filipino and live in San Diego, what's the best place to eat? Drop your recommendations in the comments because I know y'all got strong opinions on this. Oh, and don't go anywhere. San Diego is huge, but there's another city Filipinos have taken over even more. All right, be honest. When you think of Honolulu, Hawaii, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Beaches, hula dancers, maybe a pineapple wearing sunglasses? But here's something that'll blow your mind. Honolulu isn't just a tropical paradise for tourists. It's a full-blown Filipino stronghold. Around 225,000 Filipinos live here. Yeah, you heard that right. That's not just a community, that's practically a Filipino province in the middle of the Pacific. And if you've ever been to Waipahu, Kalihi, or Ewa Beach, then you know I'm not lying. You step outside and you'll see a taho vendor on the corner, a Filipino bakery selling pandeso, and at least one Tito wearing his best going out slippers. You know, the fancy ones. Now let me tell you about Ate Marides. She came to Honolulu from Cebu in the late 90s, thinking she'd only stay for a year. Fast forward 25 years, she's got a house, 3 kids, a thriving Filipino restaurant, and she still doesn't trust her youngest son to cook adobo the right way. But here's what's really crazy. Filipinos have been shaping Honolulu for over a century. They first came as plantation workers back in the early 1900s, and now they're everywhere, from healthcare to hospitality, from business to government. Filipinos helped build this city, and their culture is woven into everything. Even Hawaiian pidgin has Tagalog words in it. Now, let's settle a debate. Who has better BBQ, Hawaii or the Philippines? Drop your answer in the comments and don't start a family war over it. And trust me, if you thought Honolulu had a massive Filipino community, wait till you see what's coming next. Smash that like button and stick around. You won't believe which US city is basically Little Manila. Let's get something straight. New York City is chaos. It's fast, loud, crowded, and smells like pizza, ambition, and mystery street water all at the same time. But guess what? Filipinos thrive here. 237,000 Filipinos call NYC home. That's more people than some entire islands in the Philippines. And honestly, you can find Filipinos everywhere, in hospitals, Wall Street offices, Broadway theaters, and let's be real, in every bodega asking if they sell rice. Now, let me tell you about Kuya Jomar. He moved to NYC from Quezon City with $200, a suitcase, and a dream to make it big. At first, culture shock. Everything was too fast, too expensive, and he almost got tackled by a taxi on day one. But now, he's a nurse by day, DJ by night, and somehow still finds time to hit up Jeepney or Maharlika for some late night sisig. And let's talk about Filipino food in NYC. It's on another level. You can get lechon in Queens, halo-halo in the East Village, and if you're really lucky, you might just find an underground balut dealer in Brooklyn. But the wildest thing? There's even a Filipino parade in Manhattan. That's right, every year Filipinos shut down Madison Avenue to rep their culture like it's a Manny Pacquiao fight night. So here's my question for you. What's the best Filipino restaurant in NYC? Drop your favorites in the comments because I know y'all have strong opinions. Why does San Francisco feel so Filipino? Think about it. You walk through Daly City and what do you hear? A group of Titos arguing about who makes the best lumpia. You step into a bakery and boom, fresh pendezel. You hop on public transport and somebody's definitely FaceTiming their family back home at full volume. But here's the kicker, over 313,000 Filipinos live in the Bay Area, and they're not just chilling, they've been here for generations, shaping the city's culture, food, and history. So why here? Back in the early 1900s, Filipinos started arriving in SF looking for work, mostly in agriculture and service industries, but the real explosion came when US military veterans from the Philippines moved in after World War II. They built communities, businesses, and let's be honest, probably the first lechon supply chain in California. 2 words, Daly City. If you've never been, just imagine a place where Jollibee is on speed dial, karaoke is a competitive sport, and Punta Cana means you still have 30 minutes to get ready. And it's not just Daly City. South of Market, Soma has deep Filipino roots, and historic spots like Bindlestiff Studio and the Filipino Cultural District keep the culture alive. Oh, and did I mention the Adobo Festival? Yeah, that's a thing. If you could only eat one Filipino dish for the rest of your life, what would it be? And no, you can't say rice. That's cheating. Drop your answer in the comments, smash that like button, and stick around because the next city on this list, it's got even more Filipinos and you won't believe where it is. This is it. If there's one city in the US where you're guaranteed to run into Filipinos at every corner, it's Los Angeles. Nearly 570,000 Filipinos live here. Let that sink in for a second. That's more than 500,000. At this point, LA isn't just a city with Filipinos. It's basically Metro Manila with better freeways. Well, sometimes. So why Los Angeles? Simple. Opportunity, community, and Jollibee. The Filipinos have been making their mark in LA for decades. From the early waves of nurses and teachers to the entrepreneurs, entertainers, and influencers taking over today, the city offers jobs, sunshine, and enough Filipino restaurants to make you forget you're 7,000 miles away from home. But where do you find Filipinos in LA? First stop, historic Filipino town, aka Hi-Fi. It's the heart of Filipino culture in LA, filled with markets, community centers, and enough turon to fuel an entire basketball team. Then there's Eagle Rock, Carson, West Covina, all filled with Filipino families, businesses, and some of the best lechong kawali outside the Philippines. And let's not forget the entertainment industry. From singers to actors to YouTube stars, Filipinos are running the LA scene. If you've been to LA, what's the best Filipino spot to eat at? Is it Sarap Sarap, Max's? Or do you have a secret hole-in-the-wall joint that only real ones know about? Drop your answer in the comments, click the video on the screen and see who's really backing up Trump.